I will preach in this calendar year. Two words, simple topic. God knows. God knows. People of God, the hymn writer was correct. Time is indeed filled with swift transition. And the daily flow of our lives can be interrupted at any second. And beloved of God, that's why it's so vital that you have to learn how to hold to God's unchanging hand. I'm audacious enough to believe that 2019 was a year of all at once for a few people. Everything was fine one day everything was fine, and the very next day, our lives were turned upside down. Your family's fine, your children are fine, your employment is stable, your health is fine, and then all of a sudden, all at once, the storms begin to rage. The lightning begins to flash, the winds begin to howl, the earth begins to shake, the bottom seems to fall out. Everything was okay, and all of a sudden, all at once, things went awry. A sickness afflicted my body, my children started acting crazy, my money got funny, my change got strange. All at once, it seemed like everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. People of God, it's no secret that when situations arise in life that disrupt the entire flow of our lives, we often are left feeling alone, neglected, forgotten, and forsaken. There in despondent malaise, we are left to consider our current plight. We feel as if there is no help in store. We feel as if there are no other options for us. We feel all alone. We feel as if nobody cares that we are suffering and struggling. It seems like the end is drawing near. Life has led us to question our faith and to question God. We're led to wonder how the God of the Bible, this God who's ascribed as a holy, a loving, a kind, a compassionate, and a caring God, could abandon us in times of calamity and catastrophe and chaos. How could this warm, fuzzy God seemingly abandon us when all hell breaks loose? As we take an expeditious exegetical approach to the text tonight, we find ourselves in the opening chapters of the book of Exodus, the book which means the departure. And to understand why these Israelites are here at the brink of departure, you've got to understand how they got to where they are. Though there would be much trial and tribulation and even temptation allowing sin to enter the world, Genesis was a book of wonderful beginnings. Genesis, it tells the beautiful story of how God adopts the Israelites as his chosen people through a series of covenants. These are the descendants of Abraham, one who God made a distinct covenant with. And God has been with these people, keeping his promises ever since. Even using Abraham's great grandson to bring his chosen people out of the land of Canaan into a beautiful and prosperous home in the land of Egypt. Joseph, through a series of pitfalls, lands in Egypt's palace as the second in command, right under Pharaoh. He's revered through this land, but all of a sudden, all at once, things went from great to horrible. For the opening chapter of the book of Exodus, we are told that there arises a new Pharaoh. A new Pharaoh in Egypt who did not know Joseph, or in other words, he didn't care about Joseph's legacy, or Joseph's people. There's a new sheriff in town. There's a new Pharaoh in power that not only disregards Joseph's reverie, but desires that Joseph's people be killed, for fear that they would pose an internal threat to his reign within the nation. And so they come off this high of Genesis. As the years turn, as the decade changes, they find themselves in a place of despair and oppression. 10 years ago, things were beginning to look up. The economy was recovering, jobs were becoming available, needs were being met. Yet, as they turn over a new leaf, and as they enter a new season, things aren't looking so good. There's a new sheriff in town, and he's made some distinct decrees. The first decree was to make the Israelites slaves in the land, forced to work in wretched conditions under the scorching heat from sunup to sundown. They were slaves subjected to beatings and floggings. They were slaves in a foreign land. Now, I've got no doubt that many ask themselves, how shall we sing this Lord's song in a strange land? Because they were not only slaves, they were targets. Pharaoh issued a decree for all the Hebrew boys to be killed at their birth. 2 Hebrew midwives, they led the charge against Pharaoh, allowing some of the boys to live. So then Pharaoh issues another decree. And that decree was for all Egyptians just to start killing Hebrew boys when they see them. Slavery, murder, and mass genocide. That's the plight of these Israelites who once enjoyed prosperity and pleasure in this same land. All at once, all of a sudden, they're reduced to less than nothing. And so I'm sure that these Israelites are beginning to think within themselves, asking themselves, where is the God of Abraham, Isaac and Jacob when we're oppressed and threatened and beaten and tortured. I've got no doubt in my mind that they come to a place where they have an issue with God. And God doesn't seem to be acting like God. God seems to be nowhere in sight. But where is God when we need him the most? And I'm sure that many of us have come to that place at some point or in time or another where we wondered where God was in the midst of our suffering and our struggling. Where was God when everything was going wrong? But my brothers and sisters, I love when we come to this first movement of our selected passage this evening, because what the Israelites realize is this, that even when your issue is with God, you still have to call on God. Verse 23 of our text picks up saying, the people of Israel groaned because of their slavery and cried out for help. And their cry for rescue came up to God. These Israelites are praying and crying out to God. And I believe there are two reasons for their praying even in their suffering. The first reason they're still calling on God even when their issue is with God is because they know that God is allowing them to be tested, tempted, and tried. For generations upon generations, they've witnessed God's power operating in their lives. They've seen a meager 70 people turn into over 2.5 million. They've witnessed God's protection from the Pharaoh through the midwives. And I'm bold enough to believe that somewhere within they have a measure of faith that's encouraging them that this is simply a test. That what they're going through, what they're up against is simply a test. For they can remember the story of Joseph, their forefather, who said, you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. And I believe it's that faith living through them that enables them to call on the Lord even when they seem to be having an issue with God. And they're confident that it's only a test, and that's why I believe they kept praying even when their issue was with God, because number two, prayer still works. They were bold enough to believe that when they cried out to God, he was faithful to hear their pleas. And I believe their cry would go something like this, O thou in whose presence and my soul takes delight, on whom in affliction I call, my comfort by day and my song in the night, my hope, my salvation, my all. And that's exactly what our text tells us, that when they cried out for help, God heard their voices. And I stopped by this last night of 2019 to tell somebody that God is still able to hear your prayers. I know that may seem like God is abandoning you or forsaking you, but don't stop praying. Don't stop calling on the name of Jesus. Don't stop crying out to God, because the eyes of the Lord are on his people and his ears are inclined to their calls. It doesn't matter how bad it may be, God is still in the business of hearing and answering prayers. It makes no difference what the problem. You can take it to the Lord in prayer. It would behoove all of us to develop a consistent prayer life in 2020. Because when everything else fails, we can go to the rock. And so here they are praying and calling out to God because they've got a measure of faith that lets them know that it's only a test and that God is still able to hear and respond to their prayers. But you've got to keep watching this text, because if you're not careful, you'll miss it. Because here's the second movement, that even when your issue is with God, you still have to trust God. People of God, it is through their trials, it is through our trials that we learn how to trust God more. It's only through hardship and pain that our faith can be increased. We've got to go through to get to. And so God is allowing them to suffer through this oppression in Israel. And it's gotten so bad that they are desperately calling to God for help. The text is they are groaning in the song. And it's the song that said, trouble in my way. Sometimes I've got to cry. Sometimes I've got to moan. Sometimes I've got to groan. Trouble, so much trouble. But I know the Lord. And I love verses 24 and 25, which read, and God heard their groaning, and God remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. God saw the people of Israel, and God knew. Somebody say God knew. I believe that these are two of the most promising verses in all of Scripture, because when God's people called on him, he already knew what they were going through, and he remembered his promise to deliver them. And I come to serve notice that even when your issue is with God, you still have to trust God, because he already has the solution before the problem is presented. And y'all didn't hear that. Y'all didn't hear that. You still have to trust God even when your issue is with God, because God already has the solution before Satan presents the problem. If you don't believe me, it's right back in Genesis chapter 15, verses 13 and 14. God says to Abram, your offspring will be sojourners in a land that's not theirs. They will be servants, and they will be afflicted for 400 years. But I will bring judgment upon those whom they serve, and afterward they shall come out with great possessions. And that's enough for me, brothers and sisters, to know that almost 1,000 years before they were even in affliction, God had already promised to bring them out. And the text says God was going to bring them out with great possessions. And the word for somebody tonight is you better learn how to trust God, because He's seen it even before you got to see it.
You're talking good, bro.
You got to go through it. You got to endure the process. You got to suffer for a little while. But after you suffer a little while, the God of all grace is able to deliver, to strengthen, and establish you. Encourage your neighbor. You got to go through it, but He'll bring you through it. You know that our God is able to do exceedingly and abundantly above that which we can ask, think, or even imagine. Now I'm on my way to my seat, but I'll give you this last little point of the message. And hear me, even when your issue is with God, you still have to trust God. Because God is at work even when you can't see Him. You missed it. Let me show you in the text. Before we get to these verses, God has already made provisions for the Israelites on the other side. It's in verse 15 of this same chapter that God has hidden a young man in Midian by the name of Moses. And that same Moses will be the one that God used to deliver this afflicted and this oppressed people. It's happening simultaneously. While the Israelites are in Egypt crying out to and calling out to God, God is at the same time working in a valley called Midian to prepare Moses to come and liberate His people. And you still missed it. While they're still crying and complaining and moaning and groaning, God is already working and moving. And my final word of 2019 is this: while you're trying to figure it out, God's already working. God already knew beforehand that they would need somebody to set them free from the bondages of Egyptian slavery. And so God sends Moses to the wilderness. And it's in the wilderness that God appears to Moses. And God calls Moses to do a great work. And Moses said, God, I've got a problem with public speaking. I've got this stutter and this condition in my tongue. And I can't talk to the Pharaoh on the people's behalf. But can I tell you that when God begins to work in something, God is faithful to carry it to completion. And so God takes this man called Moses from the valley of Midian to declare a word of liberation to mean old Pharaoh. And Moses went to Pharaoh and said, let God's people go. And eventually God uses Moses to set His people free. And I come to serve notice that God knows exactly what we need when we need it. And I come to affirm the words of the hymn writer that said that God moves in a mysterious way. His wonders to perform. He plants His footsteps on the sea, and He rides upon the storm. Even though I don't know when, and even though I don't know how, God knows exactly what you're going through. God remembers every one of His promises, and God has a plan for your deliverance. Don't give up. Don't give in. Don't give up. Don't give in. Fight on until it's finished. Pray on until something happens. Shout on. The victory is won. Praise on. It's already been done. Because God knows exactly what you're going through. The hurt, God knows it. The pain, God knows it. The struggle, God sees it. But God is faithful to hold up on His end. God is faithful to come through on His promises. And the promises of God, they are yes and amen. Is there anybody in here that's holding on to some promises? Is there anybody in here that knows that with God, gives you a promise, take that to the bank and cash in on it? Because God always living on His promises. Is there anybody in here that can wait on the Lord and be of good courage? Wait, I say, upon the Lord, and God will strengthen your heart. God knows the feeling you feel. God knows the trouble you're in. God sees you in that open.